friends, my name is Hannah and you're watching the Wishing Clock channel here on YouTube. Today I have for you a kind of what sold in 2023 for over $50. So these are items that, there it goes. These are items that sold for over that $50 price point. The majority of them I did find at the bins, so I kind of wanted to let you guys know what's what and what to keep an eye out for. The first item actually sold on Mercari, and it is sheep ink, and it is a merino wool soft cozy sweater. The texture of it felt great. It had a little bit of pilling, but not so much that I couldn't get it with a sweater shaver. I've been trying to avoid all over pilliness and only go for the items that have it maybe in the spots where you get the most wear, like the armpits, because generally that's a sign that it is a little bit of a higher quality wool or cashmere. So this sold for $64 within like a couple weeks. So very happy with that. I'm looking over at a computer right here. I'm sorry if that bothers you. I have an Ivy City Co dress. This brand, Ivy City Co, does a lot of mom and daughter styles. So sometimes you may find like a little girl's dress, sometimes you might find a women's dress, and usually there is a match that goes with it for photography and things like that. Because it is aimed at that kind of niche, they are higher priced. This one sold for $75 and it was kind of a T-length, so it wasn't a full-blown maxi, and still sold for $75, and I found that at the bins. Next is a brand that you should definitely keep an eye out for. It's New Works, and it is a very unassuming kind of like light cottony feeling brand. Generally the prints are a little bit more vivid, and yeah, it sells really well. This sold for $90 within 5 minutes, so definitely one to keep an eye out for. I don't think it's talked about very much by many people, but here you go. There's that information for you. The next item is going to be a pair of J-brand leather skinny pants. Skinny jeans people avoid. J-brand, not always the best seller, but when you pair it with lamb leather, boy does it sell well. I found these at a thrift store, I think for $5 or $6, $7 maybe. And they sold for $130. Cannot complain about that. Definitely worth picking up at a traditional thrift store. It was awesome. So my one and only retail arbitrage attempt paid off for me. And it was this rag & bone Charles blazer in a 2-button front style. I saw this sitting on a rack. It was somebody's return from a nicer TJ Maxx than the one that I go to. But I saw it and I was like, rag & bone blazers sell well, so I grabbed it. It was on clearance for $40, I want to say. And I had a gift card, so I used a bit of the gift card or a reward or something towards it. And it ended up only being about $30 for me. And it sold for $130 within a month. Love it. I don't do a lot of retail arbitrage. I don't think it's always worth the amount of time and effort you have to put into it. But in this case, when you're just passing by and see something great, definitely grab it and give it a chance. The next item, bins find, it was a Eula Johnson Martha dress. I don't know why nobody picked this dress up. It is a midi style. It's a size 8 and it sold for $130 again. Seems to be the magic number for me. On Poshmark. Sorry, I have an itch. Okay. Next, this was a traditional thrift store find, and it is Alice and Olivia, the Willa Stace Face Rainbow Print Silk Blouse. I think I paid up a little bit for this. I think it was $8 or $9. But comps looked amazing. I grabbed it, and not only did it sell for a great price, but it sold quickly too for $129. It was a size small, so smaller size. But yeah, so great. So if you find any style of Alice and Olivia blouse that is a silk button-down long sleeve, I definitely would look it up because it could have incredible comps. Mother, the Weekender Skimp. I believe I sold 2 pairs of Mother. I will pop them up right here. This one specifically, though, I found on ThreadUp, and it was miswrote under the word mote, I think, M-O-T-E. So on ThreadUp, definitely play around with your favorite brands on like spelling them a little bit misspelled. Sometimes you'll find an item marked way down. These paired with a $10 reward and free shipping coupon that I got for my birthday in November made these only $4 and change to be shipped to me, and I listed them and they sold for $117. So the other one, of course, was the Mother Insider Step Free jeans in a straight leg crop. They sold for $90, and I believe I found those at the bins. This is Filson Mackinac. This is a men's red plaid virgin wool vest. It's vintage. It's a size extra small, which I thought was going to be a huge hurdle. However, this still sold within a couple weeks for $106. I did get this in one of the ThreadUp boxes that I got way back earlier in the year. Very happy with it. Surprised that a men's extra small would perform so well, but it did. The next is We the Free. These are the firecracker flares in Radler print. You'll notice in the listing that I put We the Free, but I also put Free People as the main brand. What I try to do is put both in my listing in a different ways. So We the Free was in the title and Free People was the brand that I picked because they are technically the same brand. And I wanted to get that double exposure. So definitely do that on your listings if you're able to. Next is a We the Free Santa Luz, I want to say, maxi dress. This I found at the bins recently. It sold right towards the end of the year for $90, so great flip. Definitely one of the few maxi dresses that is still hanging on to its value. Next is Jen's Pirate Booty, and this was the Ada polka dot skirt and top. It was a set, and I found it in the bins, new with tags for $90. I think because the tag is so unassuming, it's just like a canvasy material with a little bit of gold writing on it. Nobody picked it up, but I did, and it sold for $90 within a month. The next item, this was kind of a risky one, not because the style does not perform well. It's Stuart Weitzman. It's the 50-50 over the knee boots, but this did have one of the heels had, you know when there's like a patch of distressing on jeans and it's just that stretchy, you know, fiber hanging over the top of it? That's what happened on one of the heel sides. And so, you know, somebody was eventually going to have to get that fixed. But otherwise, they were in great condition. I listed them for, I want to say like $125, and a person came and offered, we played around with pricing and ended up at $75, which I was more than happy with because, again, these were a bins find. Next, we have Yumi Kim, and this brand, man oh man, I don't like picking it up. So I actually tried with some credit that I received from New Without Tag outlet to grab some more dresses and jumpsuits in this brand. It ended up being pretty much free to me for those items, and I've only sold one, and it sold only for $15 because I have priced them low because I just want to get rid of them at this point. This dress did sell for $70, so maybe this particular style with the maxi and the leg slit is what you want to look out for, but I don't recommend picking it up. I still have a ton of New with Tags Yumi Kim that, well, not a ton, but several Yumi Kim items that are New with Tags that I just want to get rid of. The next item is a J. Crew Park Blazer. This is a linen blend, and it's in a very bright, almost chartreuse color tone. So this sold for $70. I did pick it up at a thrift store for $14. I was hoping for a little bit more. However, because it is such an intense color and I didn't want to have it sit on me and, you know, hit winter and it still be in my closet, I did accept the $70 offer, and, you know, it sold within a couple months. Next is a pair of bed stew boots. As you can see in the picture, there is some marks on the outer leather. These were a harness boot with a bottle opener on the side, and they sold for $70. They were a bins find, not in perfect condition, but they did have a lot of life left in them, you know, so I picked them up. Next is Monroe and Revolve. This was another New Without Tags outlet trial. I do like the brand Monroe, but it does seem like if it's not new with tags or desirable style, It's not one that you just kind of casually pick up a t-shirt for, you know? So this sweater sold for $68 new with tags. I believe I paid $6 or $7 per piece on this one. So it was still a great deal and a great flip. Next, we have Freebird Cora boots. These are a Western distressed bohemian leather. They were in pretty great condition, but they were eventually going to need the heel caps repaired. They had, you know, quite a bit of wear down there. So I did list them lower, I think at like 100 or 110, and they sold for 75 on Mercari, which is a great platform for them to sell on because the fees are so low. Next is another Mercari sale. If you haven't been listing your like designer boots on Mercari, definitely recommend. These are the Fry Tape boots in the Chelsea style with a chunky heel. They sold for $68 within a couple months after I listed them over on Mercari. They'd been sitting on Poshmark for a while. The next is a Jenny Kane blazer, and you guys are probably going to eye roll and be like, yeah, Hannah, we know Jenny Kane is a bolo. But this had some yellowing at the neck, and I think it had one other thing that was like wrong with it. I think it was old. It was like 8 or 9 years old, and it's in like a floral, you know, print and stuff like that. It wasn't among the neutral styles that you would expect from Jenny Kane. But I decided to grab it, and I listed it at 70, I want to say, and then I was sending promotions out, and it sold on Mercari for $64.80 within a couple months. So even if your Jenny Kane is flawed, if it's a unique style, I would give it an attempt at the bins. Here we have Something Navy. This brand, not my favorite. So this brand is no longer made, right? So you'd think the pieces would be more rare. It was a blogger favorite or whatever, made by a blogger, something along those lines, and people were up talking it so much a few years ago. I found this trench coat at the bins and decided to give it a try because trench coats are going to sell pretty much, you know, no matter how the brand is doing as long as it's quality. So this sold for $60. However, I had Something Navy jeans that I also picked up around this that I'd had at this time that had been listed for almost a year, and I did have to just get rid of those because nobody was putting in any offers on them, no matter what platform I put them on. The next is APC. In a recent haul, I found an APC dress and was talking about this brand. These are a men's pair of New Standard Classique Selvage Slim Straight jeans in gray. If these were in a different color, I believe they would have sold for more. APC is just one of my favorite brands, especially in men's, to sell. I think men's styles do better than women's styles. I found these at a thrift store, and I believe I paid about $11 for them, but I knew that they would sell well, and they sold for $65 within a couple months. So next we have AG jeans. These are the Ex-Boyfriend Slim. Adriana Goldschmidt is very up and down when it comes to items that will sell, but the Ex-Boyfriend is always traditionally a good style to pick up. So those sold, I think, within a little over a month. The next is a pair of Sorel mid boots in the After Hours wedge. I picked these up in the summer, and they sold in the summer for $64. I found them at the bins. They were in great condition, but nobody seems to pick up Sorel or Uggs. Really, well, there's some people that do, but you know, not like normal in the summer. And so I grabbed these, and they sold for $64 within a couple weeks. The next is a J. Crew coat in Stadium Cloth by Nella Gorey, I want to say, which is the wool that they use, the fabric, I think. This is borderline vintage. It's very old. It has the green tag. Didn't think it was going to sell so quickly because it was late spring when I picked it up, and it sold in the summer for $62. There was another J. Crew coat in black that I'll pop up the picture of if I can find it or remember to find it that sold well also. So I think with J. Crew, any sort of like pea coat in wool will sell no matter how old it is, as long as it's in good condition. The next is Veronica Beard pants. I included these. They sold for $62 because they're a double zero. And I know a lot of people shy away from picking up double zeros. However, in the business wear for Veronica Beard, I think it's safe to pick up and maybe even pay up a little bit for, so long as you check comps, because these sold for $62 within a week. I did find these at the bins, and I know nobody was picking them up because of the fact that they were a double zero, but I did. Want to make that money, honey. So next we have a universal standard, not studio, not thread, but universal standard. This is a clothing brand made for real women, aka it includes larger sizes, because as we know, and on this channel we will say any size is a real woman size, okay? But they have items that are listed at like a small equals a 10, a medium equals a 12, 14, that kind of thing. This dress sold for $60. It is just like a cotton kind of shift dress style, but those seem to do really well. I have another listed right now that I picked up recently that I'm excited to see how it does. Here we have Steve Madden. These are platform loafers in a very Y2K style. I found them again at the bins. They're the Haley Lug loafers, and they were in like new condition and sold for $60. So very happy about that. Then we have Stuart Weitzman. Hannah, why is Stuart Weitzman on your list? We already know that this is a bolo. Well, these are older strappy heels, and they're very like Rachel from Friends, kind of old, or even maybe Jennifer Garner in 13 Going on 30, just super strappy, borderline Y2K 90s type of vibe. So I did pick them up, even though, you know, they aren't particularly the newer styles, or, you know, Stuart Weitzman is tricky. That's what I'm trying to say. But these did sell for $60. So, you know, it worked out. Next, we have Citizens of Humanity, the Emerson boyfriend jeans. Citizens of Humanity is, again, one where it used to be anything you picked up would sell, you know, at some sort of price point, whether it be $20 or $100. It was kind of, you know, you never know. But it has gone down on the resale market. However, the boyfriend styles definitely are still doing wonderfully. And I know that some of the other like crop styles are starting to pick up because Revolve does sell this brand now. So it's becoming more trendy again. These sold for $60, and I did find them at the bins. Next, we have David's Bridal. This is a sage maxi dress. I don't like picking up bridesmaids dresses, but this was new with tags in a trendy color, and it had all the information on the tag, so I grabbed it, and it did sell for $60. It did take a little over 2 months though. So here we have Wilfred Wool Coat. Excuse me, one second. Okay. This is the cocoon style. It's made in Italy. It's a wool and cashmere blend. It did have some little bites out of it. Thank you, moths. But it still sold for $60. I found it at the bins. It wasn't in perfect condition, but I knew that somebody would want this coat because this is a very popular style by Wilfred. So sold for $60. Very happy with that. And I think it did take a couple months because, again, that was a like end of summer find. Garnet Hill. This brand, man, she be tricky. Some items sell great. Some of them do not move out of my dang closet no matter how low I send an offer. But the cashmere cardigan, definitely recommend picking up. I found this at the bins. It had a little bit of pilling, nothing that I couldn't take care of. I listed it for $60, or no, I listed it for, I want to say $80, and it sold for $60. Then we have Ted Baker, the De Heel Marina Mosaic Lace Dress. This is a Ted Baker London style. Very tricky with Ted Baker dresses. They have to be a little bit newer, or they have to be vintage, or they have to be this or that for them to sell well. Luckily, this style was a good pickup. I found it at the bins. It sold for $60. I think I found it at the bins. I want to say yes to that. Last but not least, we have Lululemon Dance Studio pants. These were lined. They were older though, and they did have some signs of wear, but they still sold for $60, so that's great. I think the only other thing I want to share with you is Good American Heels. I don't know if I got into that, but I did sell multiple pairs of Good American Heels above the $50 price range. They were all new in box. I did pick them up at New Without Tags outlet and WOT outlet, where I have a code for. And I think I used my code and didn't have any credit, so it was still like $18 per shoe. But I will pop up the multiple solds, and they did fairly well. I only have, I think, 2 pairs that are sitting that didn't sell before the cold weather months came in. So yeah, really great sell-through rate for me on those. I don't know. I would pick up used Good American shoes at the bins, but I don't know that I'd pick them up at the thrift store just because it is so easy to find liquidation for Good American, and a lot of sellers seem to have it or do live shows with it. I'm looking at you, Daily Refinement. So yeah, those were items that sold for over $50 for me on Poshmark, Mercari. There weren't any on eBay, but I wasn't really listing as much on eBay last year as I am to this year already. So thanks for watching, guys, and hanging out with me. Hopefully you learned some new brands, and hopefully you'll want to stick around.